The metal motions on the air across the globe, he's everywhere. See no dust all over the place, on the mic and in his face. No school, old school doesn't care. If it rocks, you'll find it here. Look at the world, he's on the loose. The metal moose show starts right now.
London band Maximize, alternative and progressive metal. I'm listening to the Moose.
my favorite thing about that tune was the use of melody and the vocal harmonies and the way that they put that bridge together with that key change and that beautiful vocal outburst of medley. Wow, this show is for the people that live in vans that have free candy written on the side. There's so many people out there. I get a lot of emails and a lot of feedback that say, yeah, man, your show's just not heavy enough. It's just not really metal enough. So, okay. All right. Well, you asked for it. This show's brought to you by Gore Productions. So here's the deal for all you sick, twisted freaks that are looking for somebody's skin to cut off and wear as a kooky little hat later on. Gore said, hey, Moose, tell you what, man, we'll give all the listeners 25% off any title. So go to Gore Productions and use the coupon code MOOSE for music to listen to while you're mutilating your neighbors or parents or, yeah. So, woo, this is going to be a fun one. I'm going to tell you, you know, in my, I will honestly admit to you, this is an area of music that I haven't kept up with. Now, I'm a Carcass guy from the beginning. I love Carcass. Impaled, I liked Impaled, you know. Matter of fact, Mondo Medical is like a beautiful, perfect record to me. I got into some of it, but I mean, I'll always, and I still kind of think that Carcass is the where this all came from. But that's just me anyway. So, but I know that people are calling for it. And when I'm putting this show together and I'm typing up the bands on Facebook, I'm like, oh my God, these bands have thousands and thousands of fans. And I actually feel like I should go to hell just for looking at their CD cover here. So this is not normally my bag. This, whatever you want to call it, guttural gore. I don't even know. So this is really a show for everybody else out there that's into heavier stuff than I usually play. That that light metal that's usually the other shows, because there are going to be some people that won't even listen to this show because they're like, oh my God, Moose, what in God's name is that music? But listen, man, it's metal, and we do all facets of metal. So I got with the Gore House people and said, I'm going to go ahead and play this comp, and then later on in the show we got some other music, but it's 90% of the show is Gore House. Gore House, find them on Facebook, look them up on Google. You're going to get a discount just for being a Moose Crew member. That's right. Use the coupon code Moose for 25% off. More to come.
This is Chris from Cold Creature, and you're listening to the Metal Moose.
Continuing on here with the Gore House edition of Soundcheck Metal Moose, whatever you want to call it. My name is Moose, coming to you from the Moose Pit in Oklahoma City. We do Soundcheck Metal Moose usually twice a week on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Mixcloud, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. Digital platform, basically, and also a bunch of radio stations. But this is a show because a lot of people, we don't do a lot of this slam, guttural, gore, whatever you want to call it. It shows up every now and then, but it's never been really a focus of mine. But there are a lot of people that call for it and say, we'd like to hear more of it. So, I went looking around and I found the guys over at Gore House, and I said, this looks like these cats are into this whole deal. So and not only that, but the Gore House people said, hey Moose, just tell your listeners to come to the store, the Gore House store, and we'll give them 25% off if they use the coupon code Moose, which is pretty cool. So those of you that are into mutilating bodies and having sex with them and stuff, there's a lot of you out there. Here's some coupon code music for you. Also wanted to say the show not only brought to you by Gore House, but also by the fine folks over at the Metalhead Box. If you're into metal, all kinds of metal. You can even sign up. I found this out recently. You can sign up to like certain kinds of metal. I want a Metalhead Box that's dedicated to mellow death or, goth, whatever. They have different ones you can sign up to. Just find them on Google, themetalheadbox.com. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, the coolest metal subscription service ever. We're going to continue on with the Gore House show here. I'm not really giving my opinions or reviews because I'm kind of stunned and terrified at the same time. It's a lot of fun.
Hey, everyone. This is Richie from Grave Huffer, and you are listening to the Metal Moose.
Hello there, grind children. This is the Grind Mother, and you are listening to the Metal Moose Show.
Oh, the Grind Mother, how great she is. A little fetal disgorge there for you. I mean, that's so... As I'm doing this show, I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, there's got to be some bands that I listen to that are on the same kind of level as this. I remember back in the early days, and I was checking out, Exhumed, which I still like Exhumed because they're just total carcass babies, if you ask me, and Mortician, Hacked Up for Barbecue. And then I really like Psychroptic even to this day. But this stuff is on a whole new level of wow factor. I'm just like, to me, and one of the things, if you have never listened to the show before, and if you're like a slam connoisseur, you probably won't listen to it again because you're like, this guy sucks. You don't know what he's talking about. And I don't know anything about these bands. I'm being honest with you. But it's really interesting to me, the snare tones. These guys use really crisp, bright tones to get that snare to stick out behind all that sludge. So that's pretty interesting. The drumming is just insanity. It's one of the things that, one of the reasons I like Psychroptic so much, and Carcass as well, because of the clarity of the guitar. And this so far has been really just, so it's one of those things that I'm not opposed to this music. I just don't listen to it a lot because, it's just not something that is in my repertoire. I have some of this stuff, but people want it. People are asking me for it. So we're going to try to include more of this kind of terrifying music in the shows from now on, which I've really been getting into the whole gent thing, so I've been adding a lot of that into the shows as well. But we'll add more of this because now that I've got some resources, I'm going to start picking up more of this kind of serial killer lullabies that I'm listening to right now. I just got to be honest with you, man. If I my son came in the house with what is it being called again? Fetal disgorge. I'm going to be worried. I'm going to be like, oh Jesus, my son's going to fillet people later in his life. But I know it's the one thing that I really appreciate about this music and listening to it is this is like the essence of like pure anarchy. It's scary, you know what I mean? Which is kind of that thing I talk about a lot with black metal. Black metal's become so unscary, anymore. But this is terrifying. I gotta admit it. If I see a kid with a shirt, a fetal disgorge shirt, I'm gonna be like, I'm not talking to that future serial killer. Not happening. Lurid Memory on Soundcheck. I'm scared as hell right now. It's true.
With the latest in high-octane Metal Moose. You've been weighed, you've been measured, you've been found wanting. Metal Moose. For the latest in high-octane Metal Moose. Visit them on Facebook at Metal Moose Radio for weekly podcasts and more up-to-date information and events. Metal Moose.
Hey, crazy metalhead, this is Sherman Jones, bass player singer from the Los Angeles thrash pioneers band Insecticide, and we're celebrating 30 years of mega thrash with Metal Moose Radio. You've been overpowered.
I feel a little bit better now. I just scheduled a time after the show here to go to my nearest church and do confession. I need to do several Hail Marys. After listening to this, it's pretty terrifying. So those of you who bitch and complain about the show not being heavy enough, this ought to do for you. This is easily the heaviest show I've ever done. So what I'm doing is the Gore House production show. And Gore House is a label that does this kind of music, this kind of kill everybody you know and, jump her up with their intestines kind of music. And it's interesting because I was talking earlier about, one of the things about getting into metal, I think when you're younger, is the fear factor of it all, how against the grain it is and how, terrifying it is. And I remember, that sense of entitlement when I saw somebody who flipped out when I was wearing a Carcass shirt. You know what I mean? That's kind of the heartbeat of what's going on here. I just, man, I got older and I forgot about being young and listening to bands like this. I remember when I saw Internal Bleeding in Immolation, but Internal Bleeding especially, I was like, this is kind of a, whacked, way out there level kind of a deal. And this music is still, I think, one of the most brutal kind of outputs out there. In, you've got this whole gent thing going on now, and this super duper tuned down to C. And what was that? Some of those bands, it's just so low, and it's a whole different deal. But this is, I don't know, man. And I listen to it and I have feelings about it that I think are important in metal music. And I think it's important that it's still around. I just didn't realize that it was still so relevant. It's because I'm old. I'm still listening to Regurgitate, and I'm like, yeah, this is the best. And I forgot that there were bands out there still doing this. So Gore House hasn't forgotten. There's a bunch of bands out there doing it and doing it good. This next band is one that has taken the whatever this genre you want to call it by storm. This song is called Soft White Gelatinous Body by the Freaks, and I mean Freaks, in Party Cannon. You're hearing it right here on Soundcheck, and you should be scared.
Rocks Canada.
Hi, this is Fern, the vocalist of Pain, Love, and War, and you're listening to The Metal Moose.
I've just decided that is going to be me and my wife's new song, that Party Cannon tune there. What a romantic feel. The great waltz breakdown in the middle of it. Quite the tune. As I continue to do this show, I continue on to search for bands that I could possibly try to relate to the fan base of this music. And I'm sure, first of all, because I'm so old and uncool, that every person that's into this genre is like, this Moose guy's a idiot. And that's cool. But I was thinking, excuse me, I talked about Mortician and Psychroptic and Regurgitate and Carcass and all that fun stuff. I also was a huge fan of the Dahmer record by Macabre. So not exactly the same thing, but pretty cool stuff. I don't know. At this point, I just feel like a complete and utter idiot to anybody that likes this music, because I just don't know enough about it. And like I said, I think that I've come across how important this is, the genre, in the music that I listen to, but never being one who was totally, into this scene. as I'm listening through some of this music, I'm catching on to where it came from, what I'm hearing in the bands that I do listen to that is related to this. The people over at Gore House are probably going to be better at helping you out if you're into certain bands. I'm sure you could write them up and say, hey, who should I listen to that's similar to this, yada, yada, yada. So, and a lot of this I think has turned into more progressive death metal, because that seems to be like the new thing, is super, super technical and guttural at the same time, which is an interesting mix because the music is just insane. Born of Ursus and those kind of things. So Rings of Saturn, that's another one. So it's an interesting thing to me. So as I said, we're going to be sharing more of this kind of music as it comes around. These bands are hard to, they're kind of like the new hardcore bands. They don't really engage very much. Even when you ask for it, you don't find it very much. You don't find it easy to deal with. They don't just throw their music at you, because I don't think any of these guys are trying to be stars. They're just trying to like out guttural each other. So anyway, yeah, it's easy to get, songs from bands that want to be rock stars to put on the podcast. But these guys are like, I just want to rip your skull off and eat your head. Right. More right now from Gore House and Soundcheck.
Hey, Moose, let's see that nipple pierce.
We'll
Brett Schlegel from Skeleton Wolf, and you are listening to The Metal Moose.
So this is my invitation to all of you Gore Slam grinders out there, or any promotion companies like Gorehouse, that Grindhouse, whatever the hell, I've forgotten where I'm at. Gorehouse. If you're a label and or a band and this is your kind of thing, we're totally open for your music to be played on the show. Like I said, the call for it's been around. It's taken me a little while to get into getting it around because I'm completely annihilated with music that comes in on a daily basis. But we'd love to have your music to put on the show, to get out there to the people that want to hear it. And I'll try to do my best to become more educated on it than I am, because this is this is not an avenue that I stayed with, and I'm like I said, I'm kind of shocked that this is still a big deal out there. But it is, so that means people are into it, and we want to put it on the show so you can get fans, and we can keep the people that are into this scene happy, as well as all the other people. This is an indie kind of a show, indie unsigned artist, so we play almost everything that comes in. So, and I jokingly called this the metal show of bands you've never heard of. I think some of these bands are pretty well known. The next band we're going to play is Swine Overlord. We've played them before on the show. And it's not like we're anti-slam or gore or whatever here. It just doesn't come in a lot. We get a lot of different stuff. So I'm opening the doors to the people that make this music and the people that promote this music to bring it and send it on over so we can get it on the air. Don't forget your 25% discount when you go to Gorehouse and use the coupon code MOOSE. That's cool, man. That is a really huge deal that they are willing to give a discount to you guys for nothing. They don't have to do that, but they did. We appreciate it very much. Swine Overlord on Soundcheck. I'm in Hurt. Yeah.
You've just joined the Moose Crew. Underestimation of a predetermined nation. You could have killed, though it's never died.
Swine Overlord, man. So I got to tell you, that to me was an interesting cut. Really cool guitar tones. I liked the way that the tempos changed, the way that they used crescendos. The vocal attack was sick. That to me was really well done. It wasn't just your typical Gore kind of thing. It reminded me, not musically so much, but it reminded me of when I saw Cephalic Carnage, and then picking up Cephalic's material afterwards. That was a really kind of forward-thinking deal. Those guys are really really good. So that was cool. Swine Overlord added to my Spotify. Really cool. Coming up next, I can't pronounce her name, but it's a song called A Shout of the Deceased. What? How does that work?
This is Sean from Extraterrestrial Time Travelers, and you're listening to the Metal Moose. This is Steve DC from Strig Empire, and you're listening to the Metal Moves. Yeah, yeah!
I've never in my life heard vocal effects like that. That was kind of reminded me of like aliens from the X-Files, which, you know, I'm a big X-Files fan, so I'm kind of an expert on the alien noises from X-Files. That was an interesting tune. And that's something that before I started doing the show today, I never listened to the songs before I do the show, because normally on a show, I listen to the songs and I give my review of it. I don't feel that I'm educated enough in this realm to really be giving reviews, other than the fact that it's super extreme, and I appreciate that. But I was coming into this really, really hoping to find cutting edge of what's, you know, because I remember, you know, back in the day, this kind of music, but I haven't, like I said, followed it. So I'm kind of listening now to, I guess, the new age of gore grind kind of thing. Pretty unfamiliar territory for me. So it's kind of coming into this as an educational experience. And I can't wait to hear more. Like I said, I've kind of get under the new, you know, gent kind of thing, which I think is, you know, it's different, but it's the same. A lot of extremely guttural vocals with insanely technical and just obliterating music. The people over at Gore House, like I said, they're going to give you guys a 25% discount just for using the coupon code MOOSE when you go to their website. Just look it up on Google, Gore House. Yeah. It's the people who sell music. There's probably something else called Gore House, but this is the music one, yeah. And like I said, don't forget to check out the metalheadbox.com. Our good friends over there, Melissa at Full Blast, who has something to do with it. I think she may own it, run it, whatever. It's cool. I love it. I'm getting I think I've been with them almost a year now, my 11th box coming up this month, so I love it, man. And I'm sure they have plenty of this kind of music that they want to share. Stages of Decomposition with Crawl Space Burial. John Wayne Gacy. I do love my serial killers. Right, here we go on Soundcheck.
Hey, this is Ben calling from Summer City, all the way from England, and you are listening to the Metal News. Cheers.
somebody. Oh, and while you're at it, tell a lot of people. The larger your body count, the more likely you are to be glamorized. 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 Glamorized.
Hey, I want to take a second to thank you wherever you're listening from, even if you'll never listen to the show again. I understand that this is really kind of we've not really done this kind of thing before. We are friends with the people over at Horror Pain, and we've done some of their music. You know, we played it on the show, but I've never really done a full show dedicated to this kind of music. And but I want to thank you for listening in. I want to invite you to come back because we're going to incorporate more of it into the show. And don't think that it's going to take over the show. We're going to keep it as diverse as hell, like always. But the show's on a bunch of radio stations worldwide, all the way from Italy and France and Germany. And it's on a lot of stations because we have been kicking people's asses since 2014. And it's by playing music that your radio stations won't play. And it's by having people like you that listen to the show tell their friends about the show. We've got like 15,000 people following us on Facebook. We're on Instagram and Twitter, big there as well, Google+. You can find the show all over the place at themetalmoose.com and on iTunes and iHeartRadio and wherever. I know that those are traditional, not metal places, but we've been kicking ass for a long time. And we want you to come back and listen to the show because it's going to have amazing metal, even if you've never heard of it before. It's going to be amazing. So I want to say thank you very much to all the radio stations that carry the show, as well as to the Moose Crew, all the people that are here, that have been here since 2014 with us and having a good time. It's a big deal to me. I'm not this cooler than you are DJ guy. I'm just a normal dude here in Oklahoma City in my studio, doing a podcast, and I'm just one of you. I want you guys to feel like your family, feel like you can come here to get good music, because you can, and we hope to see you back. Coming up right now is a band called Skewered Vicious Mucus. That sounds kind of fun.
Hey, this is David, bass player from Texas, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio.
Maximize, based in London, England, alternative progressive metal band. We're listening to the Metal Moose. It's a great show. Stay cool. Bye.
I would like to say that I actually took the day off of work today. I've got a stomach bug. I've had it for the past couple days, and I could have recorded myself yakking up, and that probably would have been some. I could have guest vocaled on some tracks for you guys. Next time I get a stomach bug, I'll do that, and I'll just record myself. I did that a bunch, so I've actually made it through the day today without throwing up, so we're feeling a little bit better. I don't miss shows, so I've only taken off once in 3 years, and that was earlier this year when I went on vacation. But normally I do shows when I'm gone on vacation, but I decided not to this time and actually took a break. So we do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We don't always do theme shows like this. Usually it's just a bunch of music that bands send in from all over the world, and I listen to them and I give my opinion on it, and we have fun with it. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for, like I said, since 2014, and have a really dedicated fan base and an awesome group of people called the Moose Crew on Facebook. You can go find the Moose Crew and join there and meet yourself about 5,000 new friends. Also, the Metal Moose /Soundcheck podcast page has almost 8,000 people on it as well. It's another 8,000 friends you can talk about metal with. My page is just West Moose Jakeys if you want to do that as well. You can find us on Twitter under Metal Moose Radio, and then on YouTube, Metal Moose Radio as well. Pretty much everywhere is Metal Moose Radio. Or Soundcheck, one of the two. But most of it's Metal Moose Radio. We just changed over to the Soundcheck thing in January. Actually, December of 2016, January 2017. So we've only been doing the Soundcheck thing for about almost a year now. Wow, believe that. So we're getting, this is our 61st show or something like that. So it's a lot of fun. We're going to keep doing it. Can't pronounce this one either. But I think it's Spanish, maybe?
The Moose says, show your rack, Cheetos, and rubber chickens.
This is Austin. I play guitar in the band Drowning in the Wake, and you are listening to the Metal Moose Radio. Thanks.
It's pretty cool. One of the things that I'm listening to the show and kind of, I think that one of the things that I have in common with this genre of music is that if you listen to the Soundcheck or Metal Moose show, we don't have any desire to be perfect here. Mistakes are part of the show. It's not insanely well produced. There's not a bunch of comedy sketches. We're not trying to impress anybody. I'm just trying to share cool music. That's it. And I'm not trying to be super cool DJ guy. This is how I talk, and this is what I do. So if you're looking for that super perfect, FM radio rock show, this isn't it. And I'm not going to be apologetic for, oops, I played the same song twice, or oops, I, overlaid my last bumper, which I did. When I sneeze, I sneeze. When I cough, I cough. I'm doing what I do and non-apologetic for it. So just want to I think that's kind of, a lot of these bands are just out there doing what they do, what they enjoy, and they're not super concerned about the fame or the wealth or, which, listen, I promise you all of the bands would take it. Just like I would. I'd love to be, world famous and making buku money. Don't think I wouldn't. I would, but I'm not bound down to any pressure. And it's one of the things that I was thinking about when I was doing the show, that so many people have called for this, and I'm finally doing it. I'm not doing it because I feel pressure. I'm doing it because it's a viable option. It's a viable request. People want some more of this kind of music. Okay, cool. I've got it. We might as well share it. And I'm going to get more of it, so we're going to share it. It's not about pressure. It's about being relevant to what's going on in the metal world. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to explain to those that are listening that have never heard the show before and going, oh, my God, this is kind of sloppy. This guy's got a horrible accent, and he, trips over his words, and, the mic levels are weird. Yeah, I get it. I understand, man, but... it's about having fun. As simple as that. It's about sharing good music, and that's it. So we want you to be here to share the good music with, and it's really easy. Like I said, just subscribe on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you want to do that. iHeartRadio. Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. Spreaker is also a place to do them. Dehumanizing ITATRIAN Worship. What in the hell? Brutal Rush is the name of the tune. Here we go.
What's up, metalheads? This is Jerry from Gut Wretch, hardcore metal melodic band from Kansas, and you are listening to Metal Moose Radio. Be sure and listen to our track.
We'll be right back.
This is Brandon from Fall River Massacre, and you're listening to the Metal Moose.
I got to be honest with you, I'm a little bothered by the Chinese or Japanese or Asian language at the end of that song, because it may say the DJ playing this song loves to rape animals, and I don't, but it could say that, and it's a little troublesome. Yeah, just throwing that out there. I'm not that kind of person that think that the world revolves around me and that has anything to do with me, but it could say some horrible, horrible things, and I guess we'll find out if somebody listens in Japan or China or wherever that language is from, and I get some sort of a lawsuit or something. Anyway, yeah, so hope you guys are enjoying the Gore House show here. This is, like I said, the very first time we've really done a specific show of this caliber, of this kind of music, where it's just all out blast core the entire show. And actually, I think the last two songs are not off of the Gore House comp, because the comp wasn't long enough to do a full 2-hour show. But most of the show is absolutely give your grandmother a brain aneurysm if she ever heard the music kind of show. So this is it's one of those shows that I've been hearing from people for a while that we need to do, and I really sat down just the other day, and I thought I'm going to start looking around to see who I can talk to about this, and I found the people over at Gore House, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and play your comp on my show. And of course, they had no idea that I don't really normally do shows like this. But they said, tell you what, man, go ahead and give the listeners a 25% discount off of our titles just by using the coupon code Moose. Okay, wow, that's badass. They have, they don't know who you are. I don't even know if they know who I was, but they said, let's do this, and they just started giving away 25% off. I think that's amazingly cool, because they didn't have to do that, but they did, because they want their bands to be heard. They want you to buy their band's material and wear their shirts, etc. So we're hoping to take advantage of that and go to their site and buy stuff, because 25% off is a pretty good deal. I don't know what their disc run normally, but 25% off of a T-shirt especially is my favorite thing. So I might be taking advantage of that myself. I don't know if they give me the discount or not. Probably not. They're like, screw you, we want to other people. So cranial engorgement with horrific existence. This is about my ex-wife.
Hey, everyone. This is Richie from Grave Huffer, and you are listening to the Metal Moose.
Continuing on with the Gore House comp here. It's a free comp, by the way. If you want to download it, just find Gore House on Bandcamp. But what's going to happen is you're going to hear the bands and you're going to want to buy their stuff. And lucky enough for you that you heard the show that you can go to Gore House and use the coupon code Moose and pick yourself up some 25% off discount just by using that coupon code. Very, very cool. This has been an interesting show for me. And like I've talked about pretty much for the whole show, this has been kind of educational for me because I'm, this was cool when I was younger, and I tried to get into all the kinds of metal that I could. And like I said, I've been a huge Carcass fan for a long time. But I didn't go a whole lot further. I mentioned Psychroptic and Cephalic Carnage and Origin and Impaled. Those were bands. And then like Ghoul as well. Birdflesh, Nasum were some bands that I, kept exhumed. I kept in the library, but and never really stayed with this kind of guttural stuff. So the call for it on the show, though, has been pretty big over the past, past year or so. There's been a call for it for a long time, and I finally sat down and decided let's do a show, and I'm going to incorporate more of this slam, gore, core, whatever you want to call it, into the show. So I don't want the normal listeners to be scared because it's not going to turn into this all the time, I promise, because but we're going to incorporate more because people like it. I was totally shocked when I was seeing the amount of fans that these bands had, and I was like, this stuff is still relevant. I'm kind of blown the hell away, so we're going to play it so people can dig on it and grind out because people still dig it, and that's cool with me, and I want you to enjoy it and find stuff here on the show. Coming up right now, a band called Devast. It's a cool name.
Calling from Summer City, all the way from England, and you are listening to the Metal Moose. Cheers.
Hey, gang, Moose here with you from the Moosehead Pit, whatever you want to call it. It's the studio here in Oklahoma City with the Moosefest plaques on the wall, the Moosefest banner, and the Don't Tread on Me flag, and a bunch of amazing artwork, and my new Metallica jacket that I just got, which, yeah, man, I'm kind of an unapologetic Metallica fan. They changed my life. Yeah. So yeah, that right there might be enough for some of the core people listening to this show. He likes Metallica. I'm not listening to that chump again. That's okay. That's all right. But yeah, this is the studio. This is where we do things, and I'm kind of excited to be doing this show for you guys. I love it when I get a hold of it. Somebody who I've never really worked with before, that being in Gore House, and doing a show with their compilation and bringing this kind of music to people. This is, I think, an extreme fringe. But I think that, and I didn't realize it, but this is like a boiling pot of just waiting to explode, fringe of metal. Like I've said, I've just been surprised. I'm curious to see what the reaction to this show is, man, because, this is normally not the kind of stuff that we play. This is certainly normally not the music that I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot of Nile and Psychroptic and the Faceless and stuff like that, but also along a lot of Catatonia and Opeth and Darkthrone, and I listen to a lot of music. So this isn't in my normal repertoire. I do listen to Carcass pretty often, so that's about as close as I can get. So I'm kind of a new guy doing this radio show for you. I'd love to hear your opinions, some bands I need to check out, some bands you maybe want to hear on the show. You can text us on the text line 24/7 365. The number's 424-666-7356. Love to hear your thoughts, and like I said, give me some opinions on who you want to hear, who are some good bands that should be on the show. We love to hear from people. Let us know where you're listening from when you text in. By the way, we're not collecting numbers. That's a Google business line, so I don't collect information. I just get the text. No worries, I promise. This next song has the word scrota in their name. That reminds me of scrotums, so I'm a little disgusted by that. But it's a dirty horse, but somebody's got to have one. I mean, I've got one.
Hey, this is Raph Stars.
And this is Sebastian Sick from Once Around, and you're listening to the Metal Moose Radio Show.
We'll
No such luck, buddy. No such luck. You know, one of the things I'd really be interested in hearing from the females that are into this genre of music, because I know you're out there. I see you on Facebook, and it's always been very curious to me because this is a super duper extreme form of music. Now, I understand chicks being into like Alter Bridge and Disturbed, and even, I know that there's some girls out there, diehard Slayer fans and Deicide fanatics, and mostly because they think Glenn Benton is hot or whatever. But this is super guttural, and I know you're out there, so I'd love to hear from you and what you think. And I'm really, the reason why I'm saying that is because I want to know about these kind of bands that have females in them, because we do the whole Chicks That Rock thing. It'd be a lot of fun to play some bands of this genre that have females in the band, which I find, like I said, super interesting, and we're very pro female support in the heavy music genre, not just in music, but in promotions and labels. And my good friend Ebony Jeanette, who is such a amazing person, and Alicia Vera, and there's a ton of them. Melissa, like I said, at Full Blast, and all of you that I deal with that work for the indie labels and the promotion companies out there. Of course, I support everybody, but I'm very fond of and pro the women that are doing this, because this is kind of a male-dominated, macho, heavy metal, muscles and flames kind of world or whatever. So I'm pro the females that are involved in it, and I wasn't making fun of girls saying that they like Disturbed, even though I will kind of make fun of you if you like Disturbed, because I don't, and I think they're packaged garbage, but that's just me. They're selling millions of records, and I, got to beg people to listen to my show, so who am I? But, yeah, them and Five Finger Death Punch should do a tour, and just, anyway, I'm not a fan, so. Got a few more songs left for you guys enjoying this extremely guttural show. This next band is called, what are they called again? I forgot what they're called. Oh, yeah, Aborted Fetus. Lovely. Art of Pain on Soundcheck.
This is Noah Shark from Motograder. You're listening to our new song, Dorian, on Metal Moose Radio.
Just joined the Moose Crew.
Another great example of not being the most polished show on the radio. That was an instrumental. Apparently, that was probably the intro to the album, and I didn't know that because I don't listen to the songs before I do the show, and there it was, 1 minute and 11 seconds or so of just instrumental. Yeah, so sorry, guys. That was the first song on the show tonight that is not on the Gore House compilation, so the last couple songs here are not on the Gore House because the comp wasn't long enough for a 2-hour show. So when I tried to tend to do 2-hour shows, so I picked a couple songs just laying around in the old Moose archive, which is tremendously huge. We've got 2 3 terabyte external hard drives full of music that has been sent to us over the years, and I just went in and picked a couple tunes that I thought might go along with with this show, and who knows how I could be wrong, because sometimes a name can be deceiving. So I thought Aborted Fetus, that definitely sounds like something that would fit with this show, and it was an instrumental. So yeah. And then the next band is called The Black Crown. It was there. I picked it up. I threw it in here. And then the last one is an old oldie. I'm almost sure, because it was way, way buried deep in the old archive. A band called Stabbed. That'll be the last tune of the night. Stabbed just kind of goes along with this too as well. I'm guessing, like I said, it could be Euro synth pop for all I know, but I'm guessing it's probably not with a name like Stabbed. But yeah, what's a band we got? We got a really interesting one in today from our good buddy Otto. It's like sex servant something. I don't know. It was really weird. I was like, okay, well, we'll give that a shot. Hell, we'll give anything a shot once, but people like it or they don't. And, if you come back to the show, I'm guessing that you like the stuff. So we just keep rolling, man. And we're going to continue to do that and have fun. And it's just what we do. I hope you're enjoying the show. From the Moose Pit here in Oklahoma City, my name is Moose once again. We do this twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We try to do 15 new bands every show, so we try not to play the same band more than once unless it's a special occasion. So it's a constant flow of new music. The Black Crown coming up right now. We'll see what this one's about. Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Chris. And Rob from Mudface. And you're listening to The Moose.
Discover there's another one. listening to the Metal Moose.
Hey, it's a Moose here with you from the Moose Pit in Oklahoma City. So we're getting pretty close here to wrapping up the Gore House. Gore House, man, I'm kind of glad I did this show because it opened up. It revealed to me that this I know that last song, the Black Crown. I'm not going to get into reviewing that song because this is primarily the Gore House show. So that was a filler tune. Maybe I'll get around to those guys at another time, but. Listen, here's the deal. I want you guys to get familiar with Gore House if you're into this kind of music, especially, or if your boyfriend's into it, whoever, your kids. I mean, listen, if your kids are into it, first of all, take them to counseling immediately. That's important. We don't need to help generate any more serial killers out there. But I want you to go and support the guys. They've been supporting this music, and they've got a label out there, and they're pushing stuff, and they deserve your support. So you're going to get a 25% discount by using the coupon code Moose. I think that's going to last for a couple weeks, so make sure and do it as soon as you can. Get yourself some good deals on some music and some shirts and all that kind of stuff, because it's worth the time. Those people are putting in a lot of hours for a thankless job. I'm telling you, I understand that one. So I want you to go let them know that, the Moose sent you. They're going to know because you use the coupon code Moose. Do that. And then I want to kind of challenge you to invite your friends to listen to the show. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. We put it up on the internet. A lot of the radio stations are playing it. You can just contact me if you have trouble finding it, but you shouldn't have any trouble finding it on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, on Stitcher, on Spreaker, on Mixcloud, on TuneIn. It's all the hell. Oh, YouTube as well. Yeah, so don't forget about that. Tell your friends about it. Tell them to listen to the show, even if it's people that aren't into this particular show. Listen, we play all kinds of metal all the time, from gore to glam to grind to goth. That's a lot of G's right there. Yeah, man, we play it all. So even if they listen to the show and they're like, man, that was just a little too heavy for my taste, let them know that we play all kinds of stuff. And same thing for you. Maybe you're into gore, but you also like, Alice in Chains or something, and we play that kind of stuff. Even if you, like me, I like Carcass, I like Motley Crue. I mean, so I like all kinds of stuff. So I know there's got to be a Gore Guts fan out there who loves Winger. It just has to be. It's a beautiful combination, Kip Winger and Gore. Anyway, so yeah, coming up next is a band called Terror Universal. I'm just threw stuff in here, so I'm sorry if these last few tunes aren't heavy enough for you, or whatever. But we're going to do the best we can. Terror Universal, right here on the check.
The Moose rocks Texas.
Welcome to
Hello everybody, this is Cadaveria from Cadaveria Band, and you are listening to the Metal Moose.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the show here. Make sure to go to Gore House and get your 25% off discount by using the coupon code MOOSE. Get yourself some gore grind, some medical, forensic gore, whatever you're into, man. Get into it. And thanks so much for listening. I'm going to tell you guys, I say this at the end of every show. I'm going to say it again. You wake up, you kick ass, you be kind, you repeat. That's the way we do things here. That's the Moose way of life. We're cool to people, and we support each other. When we're not driving around our free candy van stabbing people in the throat. It's kind of comical, but at the same time it's extreme, and that's what it's about, is extreme music for extreme people, as Morbid Angel would say. So listen, man, it's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear from some of you. It's exciting to me to be able to communicate with a different crowd than I normally do. So welcome to the Moose Crew. Welcome to Soundcheck. And I hope you guys get into it and share it with your friends and listen to the hell out of it, because we're going to be having a lot more of this kind of music. Thanks to Gore House and the Metalhead Box. And we're going to end the show off with a band called Stabbed. Yes, we'll see you next time on Soundcheck from the Moose Pit. This is Moose. Until then, take care.
This is Sean from Extraterrestrial Time Travelers, and you're listening to the Metal Moose.
Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used. The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out while you rack out, and consider yourself moosed.